You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 353 of East Central Indiana's favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrell. Today, choose words wisely. Today, I am joined by executive video producer, audio engineer, all-around nice car guy, in a Mecum Autos t-shirt today, Zach Burcham, off camera. Junk shirt. Freebies.
Yep.
Nothing like a free t-shirt. Co-hosting is Mr. Chase Peyton, second appearance of the year.
Oh, baby.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're passionate about statewide politics, so I knew you had to be a part of this one today.
Very passionate here. You have a question, you ask me. I will find someone to give you the answer.
Do you know the current lieutenant governor?
No.
Okay.
He'll tell you it's Ray Skillman.
What about Secretary of State? Or wait, no, that's not. Wait.
Do you know the secretary? Can you tell me any statewide office holder?
It's not Mike Pence.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
So we know who it's
and
not.
There's the bar.
That's the important thing. Remember, he gets to vote just like you do.
If you would have asked me that question in 2016, I would have given you the answer.
I love it. All right. We're going to talk today. Big topic is going to be about the governor's race and the lieutenant governor candidates that are making the news. It's been a very sleepy and subdued governor's race, and then the lieutenant governor nominees came along, or selections came along, and it became a fiery, fun thing to cover. So we're gonna do it. Betsy Mills is on my right. She was a delegate to the Republican state convention.
I was, yes, one of like 1,800,
and
15 from Henry County.
On my left, camera right, is Aaron Dicken, who is a noted Democrat thought leader.
Noted by who?
Once considered the future of the Democrat Party.
Absolutely. Yeah. If he wants to be.
The dusty basement floor that we just load stuff in there and forget about it till we move. Oh, yeah. Thanks. Twice?
Yes.
Perfect. Yes. Every time he's had the chance. I've never had the opportunity because
next time,
I'm
Jeremiah.
attached to that representation.
Wink, wink.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Aaron, you like literally exist in a space where Republicans, Democrats, and Libertarians and everybody else
tolerate you.
That tolerate.
I was going to say, you can't say like because there's the equal amount on the scale that dislike.
I don't think so. Anyway, I can only speak as a Republican and Republican leadership, but we love you.
He gets treated a lot better than Darren Jacobs by this show.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway. We're going to talk about that, and then if there's any time left, we plan to find out what's going on in the councils. Aaron is a city councilman here in Newcastle. Betsy Mills has she's got 6 months left as a council
free baby
for Henry County. We're going to get some updates from what's going on there.
And you said if we have time left, so we should drag out the middle portion.
If we have time, we're going to talk about some basketball because Christy Avery requested that.
And, hi, Christy.
And we're going to talk, if there's just a little bit of time left, I'm going to let Zach talk about IndyCar at the end, because we've got a monumental race coming up next week. So that's the plan. That's the agenda. The show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh. But hopefully you'll always learn something new. If somebody was a part of Patreon, Chase Peyton, what did they learn this week?
Well, they heard you bitch for like 15 minutes about all your issues.
Good thing we started at 8 o'clock.
It was worth every penny.
If you didn't listen, just buy a Ford, and you won't go through the same thing Jared's going through.
All right. So
what is your truck?
So do you want to say thank you to our sponsor?
Oh,
John Phillips, Andy Moore, Buick GMC.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Big fan.
And Sports Corner and Varsity Outfitters. here in Newcastle who does all our polo shirts and custom embroidery, a bunch of youth sports stuff. If you got a custom project, they'll take care of you. $50 or more a month on the Patreon. You get your name dropped at the top there. But we will accept donations and contributions at any level. What else did they learn on Patreon? That was about it. We learned how to not die.
We talked about the 500,
and there was a little bit of Indy 500 talk because one of us couldn't help it. But if you want to know who, you gotta tune in.
No.
Unexpected. Unexpected.
Sorry to give that spoiler.
Aaron wasn't very.
It was Chase.
Yeah, it was definitely Chase. He did talk about it. And if you want some merch, hit us up. BossHogLiberty.com. We can do that too. Hi, Ron Milford. We see you in the chat room there. Well, let's see. Where do you guys want to start? Betsy, you were a delegate to the state convention.
I was, yeah. For the this is my fourth convention. And I always go down the night before. Like it's a Friday, Saturday thing. Like Friday night, or there's like a couple of speeches by whoever. This year was Anne Hathaway. She's leaving her post, and
she's the outgoing state chairperson.
Yeah, and
thanks for that.
And
I thought it was the actress.
Yeah,
are you serious, bro?
This isn't the lady from the Princess Diaries.
No, I'm just trying to take some light off of Chase.
I was getting real excited.
That's the Princess of Genovia.
I expect that
from
Chase, but Aaron Dicken, I expect better from you. And like if
my mind went straight there. I'm sorry, Betsy.
No, I expect that from you, good sir.
He's like, I'd be a Republican for a night if I got to see that piece.
No, this Anne Hathaway. There's 3 Anne Hathaways. There's Shakespeare's wife, the actress, and then Anne Hathaway of Indiana, who so like I think some people know, like I've been involved with the Lugar series. It's a leadership development program for Republican women in Indiana. It's the model for the nation. Anne leads that up. She also has her own political consulting firm, Hathaway Strategies. Anyway, I adore her. She's a good friend. We brought her in for our Lincoln Day dinner this year. And she's the first woman chairwoman of the Indiana Republican Party. I consider her a mentor and a good friend. She's also co-chairing the National Republican Convention in Milwaukee this year. So she's a total badass. Anyway, so it was like speech from her, speech from Jim Banks, like speech from I don't even know.
A bunch of other guys in suits.
Yeah, it made me incredibly sad that Eric Holcomb was not in the room, and I think he was not in the room because he probably would not have been well received. Yeah, and I hate that because I think Eric Holcomb is the real deal, and I just love that man. I really do. I love his whole family. His mother-in-law.
Even Henry.
Oh, Henry. He died.
No.
Yeah.
That was good. Well, Jeremy.
God, this is not going well.
Unexpectedly, and like it broke hearts. But no, I'm just a big fan of the Gov. I think the Gov has made space for people like me. Like,
I didn't get a press release about that. I got one about every mask mandate, but I never got one about the dog.
Well, I actually think there was one, and also that was like on socials. But anyway, that was I know that was a big bummer to the family. I sort of asked around, like, can I just buy them a new puppy? Like, I just want to help. Anyway, back to convention. So Anne Hathaway is running the show. It's good. So you party Friday night. You have different places to go downtown.
Even the Baptists?
They were gone by then.
Okay. Yeah.
My grandpa would not support that.
What was funny was, so we're in downtown all the time because we have Fever season tickets. And we were at, what's the restaurant called? Nada.
Ooh.
Yeah. And you've been there?
The bathrooms are sweet.
They are, aren't they?
Anybody that hasn't been to Nada is going to be like, what a weird thing.
It's weird, but really cool.
It's legit.
Anyway, we're there, and the server was, chatting us up. And this is a couple weeks ago, and we were like, he was talking about, like, he was like, why are you guys here? And I was like, basketball game, but also, we've got other stuff going on. And he was talking about the Baptists, and I was like, oh, they tip well, don't they? And he was like, his face fell. I was like, I already know, man. I already know. Anyway, back to the convention. Like,
she's never going to get through this.
I'm sorry for taking so long.
No, it's good. If we don't get to the council updates, it's fine.
Oh, it's fine. I don't want to talk about raising your taxes
again.
So we had 2 choices for lieutenant governor. So nobody ran against Todd Rokita for attorney general. So I guess we're gonna get more border updates for the next 4 years. That's cool.
Sweet.
Definitely.
Like Ohio.
It's definitely in his job
within
profile.
purview of the office.
Yeah.
Ohio, Kentucky, which border?
Yeah, I mean all of them, but like mostly Mexico because somehow. Yeah. Anyway, I'll just
take the
refrain.
jobs that nobody wants. Yeah.
But
Nobody
like,
wants to work.
But so Mike Braun, our governor candidate, said, "I want Julie McGuire, who's she's a representative in the state house, to be my running mate, my lieutenant governor." And usually the convention is like okay, cool, that's who you want, that's your teammate, we support that.
Oh, you guys had yourselves a convention like we do on the libertarian side, where we actually had to vote and do real stuff. And delegates had responsibilities. It wasn't just yes.
Yeah.
We'll take the person they chose for us.
As one of my dearest friends, Mandy Rowita, said, it was a total goat rodeo the next day. And so you got Julie. I met her the night before. I really liked her. I talked to her daughter. Like I thought their family was awesome. I had a really good conversation with Mike Braun as well. And like I referenced an event from 6 years ago. I was like, hey, I met you in Muncie at this event and with these people. He's like, I know exactly what you're talking about. And like he could remember that. So I was impressed.
For somebody
by
that's been serving in Washington for any length of time, that's impressive.
Yeah, he proved he knew what I was talking about.
I mean, he's got a good grounds crew too. I mean, locally, they're always at the library for meetings, and it seemed to be. I can't remember. I can't put my mind on the name of the guy. But
I was really excited. Like I thought we had really good candidates for governor. None of them like made me crazy, but I was excited for Suzanne Crouch, potentially our first female governor, and she would have been stellar. Like she has held every office up to that point. But anyway, so
she's the current lieutenant governor now, by the way, Chase.
Oh,
I knew you were searching for that earlier.
She's freaking hilarious. She's so fun in real life. Like I won't quote her, but I will quote when we're not on camera, but she said things to me that are just hilarious.
That was going to be my second guess.
Okay, so morning convention, like things are weird. Like it just feels weird. You walk in, we're in the convention center, we're sharing it with the U.S. swim trials, which is awesome.
Nice.
It's a very weird crowd. Like lots of Republicans and lots of like families that like are in swim gear and USA
a lot
gear.
of broad shoulders.
Yeah, exactly.
Like swimmers, I like.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how big the convention center is. It's freaking humongous. But like, there's all these people wearing, and so not Mike Braun's candidate is Micah Beckwith. Micah Beckwith is a pastor from Noblesville.
He was. We've talked about him on here before. He was the library board member from Hamilton County.
He banned a whole lot of books.
He and John Green were not on great terms for a while.
I'm waiting for John Green to jump in on this.
He did.
I had to choose I've been advised to choose my words carefully, so I will. Micah Beckwith believes that January 6th was ordained by God. That God, he said, God came to me in prayer this morning and told me that he directed January 6th. And as someone who is a massive fan of police and a former police dispatcher, I am personally offended by that, given that one police officer died and several others took their lives in the immediate aftermath, as well as the other, people who died at that event. I don't see any. I was
going to say, as a Jesus follower, I'm offended.
Yeah,
as a big fan of God, I'm mad because he didn't tell me that. So.
Well, I just,
feel left out, Chase?
Yeah.
I should have prayed in the morning.
As someone who loves Jesus, I don't see his hand in that. So that's the kind of guy we're dealing with. He looks a lot like a slightly younger Seth MacFarlane, creator of Family Guy. Like they really do look alike. So anyway, our delegates, our 1,800, picked him. I think it was like
51% to 49%.
Yeah, it was really close. And the whole time,
it's like 70 votes.
Like
anyway.
He had people all around the room holding up signs and like in your face. I hate that shit. Pardon my language. I don't want you to be in my face. Give a good speech. He's charismatic. He's a great speaker. As someone who, my job is to evaluate communication. He's dynamic.
Yeah.
He's really honed his craft. But for people like me and people who support the party and want the party to succeed, I was extremely disappointed.
So Aaron, have you been a candidate or a delegate to the Democrat convention before? You've
No,
done this?
and that's what I looked at the at the show notes. It was like, how do you become that? And I was like, gosh, this is going to be good for me to like learn how this works. I mean, nobody's talked to me about that.
That's crazy.
Following Betsy, like I feel like it's kind of an honor and it's revered. But then I was thinking about it today before the show, and I was like, I mean, you hear people talk about establishment politics, and I don't know. It's like, wait, don't the people vote? Like, I don't. It's one of those things that.
But
I don't know.
I think for us, the last 3 cycles, we've had people run that are very, very, very far right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like rebellion and like.
And it's all anti-establishment. But what's crazy is when you hear anti-establishment, like. I think they're confused. The word establishment, I think, is more in the middle, and it's not an establishment. It's just that, hey, we're going to work with everybody.
Yeah, they
don't want that.
I am absolutely establishment, and to me, that means I uphold the values of the party, and I that's it. Like I believe in our values, and I want to work in those values. And then you've got all these people that are just like middle finger up.
There was a massive contingent of anti-authority protest.
Absolutely.
Protestism of anybody that says no to the incumbency, then they were going to support that. And that was Dan Elliott kind of had some of those folks. Diego Morales had some of those folks.
Oh, absolutely.
A couple of years, and how they swept into office. Greg Zeller, like 12 years ago, whatever it was.
And Dan, I think Dan is really a frequent. He comes to Henry County a lot because he's good friends with folks up here. I think Dan's done a hell of a job. So
he's the state treasurer.
Yeah. I was supporting Pete C, who's a good friend. He was the first one out. He's a great dude and
goes to a lot of baseball games.
He does. And he was really classy. He was like, if I lose, I'm going to write the check to the person who wins and it'd be their first donation. And he did that. And it was a good amount. He told me, but I think Dan's done a great job. So no, I when I see him, I hug him. Like, it's the kind of thing where you're like, you weren't my first, but like you're doing a great job.
Right. So I've
Diego.
Diego. when you hug Diego,
the incumbent Secretary of State, just leading our.
So
I'm just gonna say Diego.
So what happened on January 6th?
You're better than this.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, all right.
So I was just sitting
on
here.
Twitter.
I was just sitting here thinking about going back to your lieutenant governor candidate. I can't figure out if I think that it's impressive that he drummed up all of this support for a year plus.
So,
or if I think it's hilarious that he was running for number 2. And if anybody knows, lieutenant governor's office is great because I don't think it's really high stakes, especially if there's a super majority in the Senate. I don't think there's a lot of tie break votes that are happening.
And here's what kills me. Like last summer I was at a Ball State networking event at the Cardinal Club or Columbia Club, Cardinals chirp. And I met a guy who works. He's in Micah Beckwith's congregation, and I really like this guy. And I saw him at the convention. I was like, "Hey, good to see you again, man!" Like, and I talked to him. He's like, "Yeah, like a bunch of us in the congregation, we volunteer for Micah." And it's like,
ooh.
I'm disturbed by that. Like, I think as a pastor, like you should not harness your flock for your political campaign. Like, I just think that's some weird.
Sounds a lot like a see you last Tuesday. That's cult.
You got that.
Okay.
Oh, I was thinking of next Tuesday.
I was working through that.
I got that.
Krista got me.
Okay. Yeah. I just, that makes me uncomfortable. Like, I'm not saying anyone did anything wrong, but
I
like,
didn't say it either.
Yeah, it just felt weird. Yeah. And what kills me is like, he had a year plus to campaign and he went hard. Like, to his credit, Micah.
So there was a very organized campaign, and Beckwith ran a campaign that started a year and a half ago.
Yeah, and Julie got on like 2 months ago.
And as good of a grassroots organized campaign, and what the Beckwith team did is they identified how you win one of these races.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what I want to talk about. Some of the meat and the potatoes of this is how you become a delegate. Because what his campaign did is they said, hey, we need to win.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be 800 candidates, or however many people showed up at the convention or were actually seated as delegates. It's hundreds of people. We, as citizens of Henry County, if you pulled a ballot for the Republican side, you had a choice of people that you were going to send to be delegates from your little pocket of this county.
Yeah, it was the commissioner, like, so north, middle, south. And the north, I don't remember the exact number. We got 5 seats. I think we ran 13 to 15 ran. So it was really good. It was crazy competitive this year.
And it was fun to vote for the people that I admire, and maybe more fun to not vote for the people that I didn't ever want to be in that position.
Absolutely.
So
I walked out there so happy for people I didn't vote for.
There's a lot of people on the ballot. I just didn't even vote. Like, I was like, I do not like you.
Here's what happens is that Beckwith's team identified people and said, hey, go run.
Yeah.
So if there's generic
it's
name
total
ID,
grassroots.
they actually did the work of recruiting people way in advance. And then by the time, and this is a strategy error that I think everybody running for governor on the Republican side made, including Mike Braun, is they didn't reach out to Beckwith. They didn't say, hey, let's work something out. Maybe you could be my candidate, or go out and say, hey, no, I'm going to go with this one person, and they're going to come to events with me. And they're going to actually start to be put together with me and act and have some relationships with folks at grassroots, right? Or pick a Dan Elliott, or pick a somebody like Todd Rokita, somebody that has been going to Lincoln Day dinners and has relationships with the people that will be delegates.
I mean, do you think this is going to change it? Like, going forward, like, everybody kind of feels like they were behind ends, burnt, and so next time they are going to, acknowledge a lieutenant governor candidate before the convention.
I don't want to give away
the state
game room
secrets
strategy that I've had with, like, literally top on down, but there are conversations about, like, how do we
change the rules without getting caught? Yes,
we're not changing. I get it. No. I mean, but, like, how do you recruit people who best support? Who are the best people to make those decisions that are level-headed? There's no games. Yes, there's gamesmanship, but it's not without integrity. It's like, we just got to get the best people in the room we can. And I don't think we did that. And it sucks. And here, I'm going to quote James Briggs from Indy Star. And I think James is usually a hater, but I think he's right on with this. Quote, I'd argue these are the things most of us have to worry about in order of greatest to least probability. State government will get worse. Beckwith will embarrass Indiana. Laws could get more extreme. Beckwith could become governor. And I can't disagree with that. And, like, I think I look at Micah, and I think he's an entertainer, not a politician.
In our lifetimes, a lieutenant governor has ascended because the governor had a stroke and died. That's how Joe Kernan became governor of Indiana. He was Frank O'Bannon's lieutenant governor.
Thank God he was a solid pick.
He was. He like, good dude.
Statesman.
Yeah.
Where have they gone? Statesmen, stateswomen.
They are rare. There are a few.
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway, I think she's one. Like, and like our new RNC committeeman. So John Hammond left, and he's done with his term. But the state party appointed Victor Smith, and I think that's a really solid addition. So, like, in terms of Indiana, like, existing in the Republican Party nationally, like, we have really solid people. And Randy Head becoming the new chairman of the party. He did a hell of a job running the convention this past weekend, and I don't know him at all, but, like, everybody thinks he's really solid. So,
I mean, hearing those quotes that you read from the Indy Star, right? I just can't help but sit here, and I feel like it needs to be stated that, to remind everybody that everything at the State House is a super majority for the Republicans.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot of counterbalance. And I mean, that's kind of played into my life because, I mean, if there's no counterbalance, you're just, I don't see Democrats typically winning in the state because it is so red.
And that's a part of when we talk about the Democrat candidates and who was anticipated to be the selection. There has been almost an abandonment of a coalition that used to be there in the Indiana Democrat Party that I think is missing and is one of the reasons why they've struggled at the national level. I want to paint the 5,000-foot picture here. In spring, in March, the Libertarians selected Don Rainwater again and Tanya Hudson to be their lieutenant governor. So that one is set and done.
Nice.
In June, we had the Beckwith selection to go with Braun. Braun was selected in the May primary, and then Jennifer McCormick was selected in the May primary, but she had taken some time to announce who she wanted to be her lieutenant governor nominee. Mm-hmm. There was a lot more interest in her race and who her selection would be once the Beckwith outcome happened.
And you have to figure she was talking names, right? She had been. I mean, I can't think you start a campaign without instantly starting that list of who would I want to work with. But I think the Micah Beckwith thing sped it up.
I can tell you in 2016, we didn't really spend we had a very contested Libertarian race for governor. Rex Bell versus Jim Wallace. And we were only worried about winning the nomination for governor.
Yeah.
When it came time for lieutenant governor, Carl Taschenhorst had said, "Hey, I want to do it." And we were like, "Perfect, Carl. Thank you, awesome." Right. It was not a concern, and I think from McCormick's side, they probably weren't very focused on it either.
And I would assume it's because the assumption is you're going to choose somebody who is on board, who is going to, increase your coverage, basically. Where I don't know that that's happening on the Republican side.
Yeah. Beckwith had a strategy of running as a voice and creating a platform because he's never been elected. He'd run for Congress and finish fifth once in the 5th congressional district. So the Noblesville-Anderson congressional district. He ran for this office and it gave him a platform and he did the work he needed to do to now have a statewide platform and a network to do something 4 years, 8 years down the road. And I expect he's going to have a very real opportunity to be a big player in Indiana politics for a long time because this is such a red state. It's very likely he's going to be around for a while.
It is. And
I'm with you. I wanted to see if
let's talk about your guys. So how do you, we haven't had this conversation yet, but how do you feel about
this is
Terry Godin? Is that the name? Gooden, sorry.
And this is what's hard because I think instinctively when Jeremiah and I were talking about the show, I was like, my energy level's just not there because being in Indiana, being in Henry County, knowing that there is no future for me outside of the city at all.
That's it.
And I know if you become mayor, we had a mayor of an Indiana town that became Secretary of Transportation. You've got a path from the side.
Anyway,
all right, Pete Jr.
4 years ago, I saw Eddie Melton kind of rise to the top, running for that governor spot. Or maybe it was even last year before the primary. And he is just somebody that's got that energy, that charisma. And I think
he's back like mayor of Gary, Indiana now.
Yes, exactly. And I think about how did Obama win and carry some Democrats to the top in Henry County? And I think it's that energy and that charisma. Jennifer's got it 100%. I'm super excited for her. And just, her entire story, I think she is a solid representation of a Hoosier.
Sure,
period.
She's she was my sister taught at Yorktown. She was her superintendent.
Yeah, and
Trent was her husband was just superintendent Blue River. Like she's actually local.
Yes, and they're solid people. When I tuned in and because I was curious who the lieutenant governor choice was, and I heard it was Terry Godin and. I've tried to enter state politics a couple times and then have pulled out. And Terry Godin is one that has been there. And initially I was thinking, well, I'm not ecstatic about that. He's not somebody, for me at least, that brings that energy. But then I remembered I was just talking with a very long time local Republican in Henry County. And I said, I'd really love for Jennifer to pick somebody who's very moderate. Because I think if you're running in Indiana, that's what it's got to be. That's what it's going to take to get a win for Democrats, while also hanging on to those core values that, I mean, we've talked about multiple times: equality, inclusion, etc.
Our Venn diagram's pretty tight.
Yeah, right. So
Terry Gooden was a state senator. He's from Austin, Indiana.
I think former school superintendent, I believe.
Yeah, he had a schools district of about 500 people. And he was a pro-gun, pro-life, Southern Indiana, kind of a blue dog Democrat.
He voted against gay marriage in 2011.
Yeah, I saw that.
So did Barack Obama. I mean, like,
I know.
You're going to hold this again.
Things changed very quickly.
Absolutely. Joe Biden, like said his thing on one of the morning shows. Then all of a sudden, all the Democrats, lined up to support gay marriage.
And I think that's the key, is like acknowledging that you had an incorrect opinion and you are representing the people, and you admit that. It's not about owning the libs. It's not about owning the right. It's about like getting everybody to the middle to live.
And,
and like the backlash against him, I mean, look, I'm a Republican. I'm a Republican in leadership. Like, I'm going to stay in this party, fight for this party, fight for our values.
Last one out, turn out the lights.
What?
I said last one out, turn out the lights.
Okay.
Escape safely.
There we go.
But I have no weapons on me, but
okay.
I thought Terry was a really good choice.
Yeah.
A really, really good choice of like, if you want to actually, I'm not rooting for, I'm not rooting.
You just want everybody to have fun.
I was going to say, I'll cut you off.
I'm rooting for rainwater in Hudson. Here's the concern I have. The statewide Democrats have really lost. Terry Gooden was the last rural Indiana Democrat serving anywhere, right? Other than him, it was, you've got the folks that represent Muncie, or the folks that represent Indianapolis or Gary,
right? Those pockets.
Those very, very blue pockets are the only places that you would see Democrats serving from. So Gooden was one of those Southern Indiana Democrats that used to be, everything along I-64 used to be full of state representatives and state senators that were Democrats. That is gone. And that's why you have that supermajority, is that every rural district has now gone full Republican, and they don't even pay attention.
Well, I mean, and the infighting with the party is also hilarious. Like, there are far right Republicans and there are moderate Republicans.
But here's the thing: does that even impact the outcome of these races? Because I think from the conversations that I've listened to, because I've not been a part of them, people vote for anyone that has an R after their name because they believe in good family conservative values, and those damn Democrats are going to bring in everything that I hate, and so I don't like this guy, but I'm not voting for him over there. That's just it. I mean, take public education, for example. I know teachers that, candidate after candidate, hey, I know this is broken, and I know this is a common theme in this podcast, is it's broken. Like, it's broken because we're not paying attention to it appropriately, is my opinion. But the teachers aren't voting in their best interest because, living in Henry County, they want conservative values. So yes, they agree with the Democrat governor candidate's public education views, but if she's going to let a woman decide her own health decisions, well, I'm not for that.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, sure. And I like public education is near and dear to my heart. Like, I've taught public. I am a public educator. I just teach at the college level. I come from a family of third generation public educator. Grandpa, aunt and uncle, mom, my sister. So like, it's near and dear to me. Like, I really pay attention. I have feelings about like school choice. Like, I don't think school choice is for everyone, but like, I think school choice can absolutely elevate somebody in a kid in a bad school district. You take that funding, you move it somewhere else. At the same time, you can't defund public. So it's got to be both.
Well, and you see school choice work so well here at the local level by people, maybe something's happened in Newcastle.
Have good schools here.
They pulled them out and sent them to Blue River or Tri or whatever.
We are blessed by having 5 great school districts. I mean, I'm a Raider through and through, K through 12, but
school districts.
Huh?
I think we have too many school districts.
Well, that's why tonight we're announcing Newcastle Consolidated High School. No, I'm just
They're gonna draft Blue River in.
Oh, from downtown. I'm hearing whispers about that, and I live like literally like if I was across the street on 950 North, I'd be Blue River. I had the longest bus ride ever going to Shenandoah my whole life.
I don't know. I went to Blue River and I was on the bus for an hour coming home. I would leave the county. I was a 5th and 6th grade student, and we would beg my father because I would leave. I would end up in Randolph County trying to get home on the school bus.
I think we had it, like it was pretty comparable for me, but
that explains your language.
Like I know and because Blue River's
it's a miracle for being a 6th grade dropout.
Because Blue River's folks didn't pass their tax, which is complicated. I understand. Like I'm not going to comment, but
90% of people said no tax.
Right.
It's pretty simple.
They did.
River.
And
no.
I was actually working the polls that night or that day, the last shift. And they were the guy who was supporting like no tax was extremely hostile and whatever. I didn't really have an opinion. I didn't know enough about it, and I'm sorry if that's bad. I just didn't know. It wasn't my.
You didn't live there.
Apology accepted.
You raised the taxes elsewhere. You don't have to worry about this.
Oh yeah, we're gonna raise your taxes all over the place. But,
well, I did want to. I see JD's name on here, and
yes,
man, I don't know JD Ford extremely well, but I've communicated with him often enough to know that he shows up, he does the work, he represents his really constituency.
Yeah.
So he's openly serving as a gay senator.
Yeah,
I think he's the only one in Indiana. And that was the backlash that happened, is that when Beckwith came along, it was okay. The Democrats are going to choose somebody that's really progressive, and then the Democrat base that has been showing up to things for the last 10 years says, "Why did you give me a blue dog Democrat when you didn't give me a liberal like I asked for?"
Right,
and
it's not going to work.
And somebody like JD is there. And the reality is that if they want a coalition to win, both of those sides of the Democratic Party need to come together and show up and work together. Because you're not going to, you can run the most pure liberal you want,
right?
But this is not Connecticut.
Right.
I respect JD a lot. Like, and I was like, dude, do not chat. Like if I'm on your side, do not challenge. Get behind, like make sure that this guy's 100%. Views, like give him grace, like let him explain where he's at, which he has. And I think, you give him the same latitude you gave to Barack Obama on these issues. But if you're going to mount a protest, like you guys have a slight shot.
Well, and
to me, it's like 85-15, like you're on the 15. Right. It's probably not going to happen.
In an effort to blow by the council updates. I mean, he is the Caitlin Clark of the Indiana Democrats, I feel like, because JD Ford is going to come alongside. I mean, I've seen him root for Jennifer forever. And I think he is probably one that worked with Jennifer as the state superintendent for education.
Were they in office at the same time?
I think so. He's been in the Senate for a while.
I think he didn't he knock Mike Delph out? I don't even know when. You're probably right. Anyway,
Chase and I will look it up.
In any case,
Chase probably knows actually. Chase.
Well, I was gonna say if the Democrats need more votes, I've got a vote.
Yep,
it can be purchased.
Just go to the cemetery and look up some names.
If you know a guy.
No, but I respect JD for backing down, because I honestly, if I have the Democrat hat on my head, that's right.
Oh, and his time's coming. Who knows if Jennifer wins? What's his role? Is he going to stay? Like, what's his role going to be? And his time's coming.
Yeah, I mean,
but he's stellar.
He was elected in 2018. He's 41, so he's my age. Chase.
He's a week younger than me.
He's got a nice beard.
No, I've never met him. What was funny was like when I ran for state house, there were so many people who were like, "You're going to be the first gay person in the state house." I'm like, no. But the first gay Republican, and like it didn't happen, obviously. But it was that conversation was hilarious. I was like, let's not entertain that. I literally have to win this race first.
Yeah. Well, I came across
The panic on Aaron's face when he found out the news just now.
yeah, I had no idea. I was going through my photo albums, and I actually explained to my children just last week, because we were talking about forgiving and forgetting, and I said, well, if you want to be a total boss, you forgive, but you never forget.
Yep.
And I have a picture of a mailer that went out during your race that just pissed me right off. And at some point in my life, that's going to come out, and I'm going to say my piece, because what do I have to lose?
I've been advised, and like I feel this in my heart.
You're a good person, Betsy.
Thank you.
Who the hell advises you of all this stuff? Who's the puppet
you
master?
guys are part of it. Like
All right.
literally, Chase, not you, but
She doesn't value your opinion.
Yet is the key
I don't
word.
have your cell phone. I don't text you
It's
for
okay,
advice.
Betsy.
No,
I voted for you.
yeah, thank you.
I did. I
love you, brother. I love you. We don't talk about
Chase
things.
Betsy is not only a ticket that could win,
Hey,
but a
listen.
great slogan.
I went in to vote that one the first time ever voting, Betsy.
Oh, I appreciate
Wrote
that.
your name down.
No disrespect. It's just
It didn't count if you wrote your name down. You did it wrong.
I checked your name.
Now we know what happened.
so like 2 years ago, it was a really tough race for the state house, 8-way race. It was really painful.
But when you're appeasing to a crowd,
I've never been.
it's not about what is good for the state and the constituency. It's about owning the libs. You don't have to say anything. That's totally. That's a statement. Period. You don't have, because I can't say that to you and you expect a response.
I don't
from
know,
you.
man. Like I've said this a little bit, but I've kept it mostly private. Like I got handwritten death threats. I got my mailers mailed back to me.
Did they sign their names?
No, of course not.
I bet I can get a 60% accuracy rate.
I got voicemails, emails that were just heinous and just telling me what a horrible person I was because I was gay. And even though like nothing
You're
on,
gay?
yeah. Even though that was not anything we discussed, like running for office.
No,
it was
3 more days left in June for you to send a card or something. Now that you know.
I literally don't love pride, but
No, I get you.
it was like that experience was like like if I can liken it to whatever, every day I threw myself down a stairway emotionally and physically, and I honestly thought I was going to win, and I got smacked, and I got my ass kicked.
That's politics, isn't it? Like
it is
the way. Just to go in on Betsy a little bit. I mean, the way that you ran your campaigns, the way that you carry yourself as a human being, your character, your personality is just full of grace and intelligence, and like that is the representative that I want in Henry County. Not having known you before you ran, we got connected through our mutual friend Christy. Shout out Christy.
My sister, Chi Omega forever.
But it was, it's hard because, like we said with JD, this time's coming. I feel like it's not very common to have people our age, especially in our community where the average age is much higher, step up into this position. And I think when you're doing it in your hometown, your home county, the furthest thing from your mind is everything that you just described. And there's no place for that if in public service, which is what politics should be. It's disgusting. That's my fear that's the way the local party is going to end up going, to be honest.
I was blown away. And what was funny was like I never got any of that running for council at that level. But when I ran for the next level, what I got was appalling. I talked to multiple people in the sheriff's department afterwards, not during, because I didn't want to be a victim. I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm being harassed. I was just like, focus on the next. And multiple respectful, like you would know their names. They said like, Betsy,
like this is legit.
That we should have filed that as a report. And
I understand at that level, candidates aren't doing 100% of it. But if a candidate has gall, then the candidate should be making communications to these people, like or publicly say, hey, this went out. I'm in this race to win, but this is not how I want to win.
There was a candidate who said that he was for family values, and it was like, what family values are those? I'm the most pro-family person.
Right.
Like, we were here. Krista drove my mom to St. John's and Anderson at 6:30 this morning for cataract surgery. My other sisters were are in New York and San Francisco.
Family,
and not to say
family takes care of family here, right?
Yeah, not to say they're anti. I'm not saying anything bad about my sisters, but like,
they're just not here.
They're just not here.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I'm not a victim.
Nope.
But there's a reason I'm stepping away.
I get it.
We all feel it. I get it.
Yeah.
Am I depressed? Yes. Do I get it? Yes.
I know. And we talked about that. Like, you and I have had multiple conversations about it. And like, I know you feel it too. And
right.
I'm frustrated with the lack of upward mobility.
Yep.
I'm frustrated for you too, because you don't have that.
I mean,
and you would be so freaking dynamic at the state level or anything. Like our values, I mean, all the values we all share, I think are like, our Venn diagram's really tight.
To quote Jed Bartlett, well, who's quoting Sam, in America, there's much more that unites us than divides us.
Absolutely.
And we've totally lost sight of that.
Yeah.
It's a total carnival. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's not why you and I got into this, not why anybody throws their name in the hat. It's to represent their family and their neighbors and their friends. And you can only take so much of, somebody getting up in front of a meeting and just constantly talking down to you and, never verbally appreciating anything that you've done for the community. It's totally hypothetical.
Yeah.
But before you just are done.
We have so politicized everything in this country that we don't have a common enemy. We don't have what portion of this country is pro Russia and portion of it's not. A portion of this country is pro Israel and a portion of it is not.
And I understand that's what makes this country what it is, right?
There are so many, but there's limited uniting factors at this point, where you just find that deep frustration with where wedge issues have been very successful. Right.
And that's it.
And so
that's 100% it. It's a game.
It's trying to separate you from your friends and family over issues that probably don't really actually affect your life. It's this guy's going to try to take your guns away. No, he's not. Probably not. And they're not going to be successful. Right. They're going to get involved.
Damn right. They're not.
They're going to get involved in the right to choose conversation has become very real. But for 50 years, that was a massive wedge issue in this country.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be, we have to protect families and make sure that families can be raised in the image that we think they should be raised in. And while there's points to that make sense, it's going to be a massive wedge issue.
Yeah.
That's going to divide people instead of having kitchen table conversations amongst friends and family.
Well, what kills me is like the anti-IVF effort blows my mind.
In vitro fertilization.
Yes. Because like, I have a nephew because of IVF. If we're the party of pro-life, that's a beautiful boy. Like Leo is he's stunning. He's just really fun, good kid.
It's a very emotional and very real issue for families.
Oh my gosh, in so many ways, and like
politicizing that is absolutely beyond pale.
I don't understand it. I really don't. It's like if it's not completely natural, it's evil, and that to me does not make sense. If we're the family of pro-life, growing families, supporting families, we're going to support reproductive efforts. Like I understand like the abortion stuff to a degree. I don't agree with people having to carry babies that are literally not going to
incest. Yeah.
But again, if everybody's got their own personal values, right? And part of the freedoms is that, hey, instead of writing a law, because, if laws aren't going to fix gun violence, well, they certainly won't fix, birth issues either. But
I look forward to none of these issues getting discussed by the candidates for governor, and we can talk about building a wall with Mexico.
And how old will we be at that point? You're talking this race.
This
Yeah,
year.
okay.
Yeah. With all of these important issues will get ignored, and we're going to talk about building a wall in Mexico.
And by the way, there
With
are
Mexico.
two senile gentlemen
Debating right now.
I have no
Yeah.
idea what's happening, but
Yeah. Two octogenarians doing their best to remain standing and not lose control of any bodily function.
is there a single person that's like, this is an awesome, like, we're just so excited for this race?
I mean, I was honestly excited for the microphones. Did you guys see that? Like
No.
how they are.
They're going to turn them
They
on.
demonstrated it, and I guess there's no TV audience either. So I'm just excited for that.
So you can like shut them off if they're not supposed to be talking.
Yeah, their light goes off, and they demonstrated it, and the other person's mic stays at a solid volume, and you can barely hear the other person interrupting and complaining on the other end.
Aaron
So
Dicken,
I was kind of
I'm gonna throw you something, and I'm sorry if it's wrong.
okay.
How do you feel about Joe Biden?
In terms of people, or in terms of here's my three options.
Here's my presidential candidate as a Democrat.
Well, again, going back to what I talked about in terms of like Eddie Melton, I don't think the energy's there, and I don't think the charisma is 100% there. I would spend time with Joe Biden 100%. Get an ice cream cone or something. I think that'd be fun.
But like cognitive ability.
But I mean, I trust him way more than I do any other candidate. And maybe it's not even him. It's that I know that he will surround himself with the smarter people in the room and will rely on them instead of taking a Sharpie to a weather map and saying, no, I am the meteorologist here. But would he be the person that I would choose out of that whole? I mean, I was 100% Pete 4 years ago. 100%.
I think Pete would kill it. Pete, like
charisma, energy, intelligent. I mean, everything. I saw a TikTok. Yeah, I'm on that TikTok of a clip,
Chinese.
a clip from for now. A clip from the JFK library, and it was the JFK and Nixon debate, and the way those two talk to each other, incredible. Like, and that's totally gone because there's now no entertainment value in that. Like, I want to feel like I'm on a winning team at any cost.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily how I feel. I've left
tomorrow,
certain races blank because of that.
Tomorrow it's going to be my guy was great and the other one was a liar. That's the way.
Yeah, regardless of the side.
It doesn't. I could tell you that's going to be the take already.
That's what sucks so much. It's the media. Like I hate to say this, but I've lost so much trust in our institutions, our media, education, you name it. Like. If I could write somebody in, I probably will write in Condoleezza Rice. She'd be a kick-ass president.
I wrote in Tulsi Gabbard last time around.
Tulsi,
I'll probably do that again. Yeah. She's pretty hot.
There it is.
She's hot. She's a little bit out there, but like she's also way more in the game than either of these guys.
Hey, Chase Peyton.
Aaron, you want to see my Joe Biden impression?
Yes.
Impersonation?
Yes.
All right, Jerry, you do your Trump impersonation.
I just, every time I see him, I'm like, this is the best two people.
I was just telling Jared that like 2 weekends ago. I was like, these are best two options? I'm not super into politics, but what are we doing here, people?
Everybody agrees it
combed
sucks.
the nation and decided after a thorough and exhaustive search that we should just run it back. These are the best two we have.
Exactly.
So the musician Santana, who was famous on his own, but then he did that. What was it? The song with Rob Thomas,
baby.
Yeah. So he has, that epic solo on the guitar. He said he once proposed it was either 7 or 9 grandmothers to lead the nation. A council of 7 to 9 grandmothers.
There you go.
I think that would be better than what we have now. And
I don't know if I want my mom in charge of anything.
Is she a grandmother?
No, but she's grandmother of 3.
She is a.
She's not my grandmother, but she is a grandmother.
Okay. Yeah, right. Your brother Danny. Yeah. Sorry.
I'd pick somebody else's grandma. I think.
I mean, it doesn't have to be your mom, but like, our options
seems like a risk.
Our options suck. How does England have 3 female prime ministers? Right. And we've had 0.
Well, and this is the point too.
One did win the popular vote.
Brittany gets mad at me because I shut off her news because she likes to watch the news, and after a while, I just get tired of it.
News is terrible.
In terms of Washington, like I know they do stuff in Washington D.C., but I think locally you have such a bigger impact. But I think what I've seen in the last 8 years of me doing this and paying attention is that unfortunately locally is starting to mirror the national level.
Is it?
Great transition.
I'm not
Oh, yeah.
A little bit.
Chase, why don't you get Aaron to tell us about what's going on in the council while I step away for 40 seconds?
Ooh,
Aaron, what's going on in the council?
nothing much. I just wanted to see where he took it. I mean, I think you'd have to be totally off social media, not a subscriber of the newspaper, and not eat at any establishments locally to know that, you know, the city council's in some financial heat. I know that was a part of the discussion in the campaigns last year, but I think the role of the council, and it's totally different than your role on your council. I think there's some misunderstanding there, but
Probably.
we vote on the budget. I know I've voted no on the budget in the past. I've made suggestions on the budget in the past. They haven't been there, and I voted no. But all we do is vote on the budget. Yes, we question things all the time, and if you are doubting that, you can go look at newspapers from 2020 for some very contentious city council.
Can I ask a dumb question in good faith? In good faith. So I acknowledge I may not understand this correctly. So that's why I'm asking you.
Mm-hmm.
So what I understand, like I came in 2020, right? 3 months before COVID, I got caucused in. And the council that came in the year before me, that was like Susan, Chad, Kenan. They made some really hard course corrections to our insurance because we were super in the red.
Right.
It was a little bit painful. It was necessary, and it's worked.
What kind of changes did they make just to help paint the picture of what the city might be looking at and needing to do to their insurance? What kind of things?
They changed insurance.
Carriers.
Yeah. And like, I've been told like, oh, we don't pay our county employees enough. So we had the Cadillac plans of insurance.
Right. Same thing.
And we had to downread from that.
Yep.
And so we did that.
Did Henry County find you hear from the employees that, well, there's going to be a massive walkout. You're going to lose all these people because that's going to happen.
Never happens.
That didn't actually happen from the county side.
And we've had a natural attrition, I think, retirements, people stepping off for new jobs. But to me, that attrition speaks to your office went from 10 to 7 and you're still doing the job. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep doing the job, and let's get you raises. Let's get you raises because you're taking on more. But I don't know. That's common sense to me. But so we made those really hard calls.
Right.
As I understand it, and you can correct me and smack me down, you guys have not done that.
So some historical numbers just because of my day job. So the county did make that switch in the summer of whatever year that was.
Yeah.
And
it was before me.
That following January, because the city's plan runs on a calendar year, the city made the jump because there was better discounting, savings, etc. We've not done the spousal carve out. I was actually invited and involved in some discussions with emergency services unions. And, in talking to our people, because I think I heard, and I told her, I think I heard Jennifer McGowan, who's in the teachers union, when they were dealing with the same thing, going to this new insurance, she said the quote that I can't buy groceries with my Anthem card. You can insert any carrier there, insurance card. And that's 100% true. So if we've got the Cadillac of plans, and that's great when I'm sick, but for longevity purposes, what does that really?
But if it's good for
getting me
catastrophe, right? If it keeps your family from bankruptcy, maybe you don't need the Cadillac plan. Maybe you can live with the Chevrolet.
But you guys are super in the red.
Oh, 100%.
So how do you make that up?
And I've told people privately, and now getting ready in 5 seconds to speak publicly, that it's not an insurance issue.
Okay.
The insurance plan has worked very well, other than 2 years out of the last 10. it's a budget issue. I mean, like anything, if I know that I am commuting to Ball State and it's going to take me $100 a week to do that, then I know, what's the math on that? $5,200 a year, right?
Checks out.
If I budget $2,500 in gas, I'm going to be in the hole. And if I ignore that year after year, it's going to create a hole. And I mean, I've said that to a lot of people, and a few times have tried to show and explain how the plan works and everything. But that is, in terms of checks and balances, council does not handle any personnel issues, including insurance. When we get the budget and we look at the line items, we don't know that the number there is what should be there. And even if we ask, because I've done this before, hey, is this number based on the expected or max claims from the insurance company? That answer that I get is on record. I would assume that it's truthful, and then we're expected to vote on the budget based on that.
Yeah.
So it's just difficult. I know people are mad, and I totally get it. I know people are frustrated, and I'm sure changes are coming. But this is where it gets hard.
There's
because
limited funds, right? So if you say, okay, we're not budgeting enough for insurance line,
you can't go make more widgets.
It has to come from somewhere,
right?
So that becomes the really tough conversation of what services are not going to happen,
right? And
obviously some money got borrowed this year to make it through, but you can't borrow. Unfortunately, the local governments aren't like the federal government where you can just borrow infinitely.
Just print more money.
You do have to come up with it somewhere.
Right.
So it's buildings, it's headcount, it's utilities, it's some place has got to, you can sell assets for a period of time,
right? But
at some point you've got to get it corrected.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that February or March meeting, I mean, the obvious low hanging fruit, God, I hate that I use that phrase, is, so what properties aren't we using? What can we get rid of and liquidate? We've been doing that at the county level,
like the former car wash gas station on 3 in front of Walmart. Like I think I really encourage our commissioners, offload that, let's get money.
Get it paying taxes as well, right?
Yeah.
It's not a headache. You're getting taxes on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there are some good plans in the works. I think it's going to be uncomfortable for a while, but I think like the county has done, we will get out of it. And then from there, hopefully we don't, repeat history.
Are there, as different programs are being looked at and options are being weighed for insurance plans, is there an opportunity for the city to pay somebody to just take their spouse's insurance instead? My spouse gets extra money by taking my day job's insurance. They offer insurance. We could buy insurance through them.
Yeah.
But they say, hey, no, we're going to give you an extra, I don't know.
So they give her a stipend.
They give an extra $100 a month to go take somebody else's insurance. Say you've got somebody that works for the city, but they've got an opportunity somewhere else. You could shift that burden off by paying $100 or $200 a month to somebody and say, hey, go take, yes, the husband works for the city, but maybe you work for a different entity, and we can that $200 is a drop in the bucket compared to the possible exposure for the community.
And that's been the discussion because the city is, one of the last big public entities that has not implemented a spousal carve out. And a spousal carve out really impacts only the people whose spouse gets insurance offered from their place of work. So if you have somebody who's a contractor or self-employed and doesn't have insurance, they can stay on the insurance. And what I've seen from my job is that people price out the spouse to where, your spouse can stay on, but you're really not going to want to do that because it's going to cost you an arm and a leg.
That's where you can sweeten the pot of saying, hey,
correct.
Go, if you just go take this, we're going to pay you.
And I think part of it is
what we would have been paying anyway.
Yeah.
I think part of it is,
Yeah.
And part of it is education too, right? Like there are increasingly, individual insurance went away about the time of the Affordable Care Act, and then, or before that, and then directly after that. So kind of like a bell curve. Now carriers are starting to figure out how they can offer individual insurance to people. And a lot of times they get a subsidy. It's cheaper than what they're getting at work, whatever. There's options out there, but that's super boring to talk about. So, I think we're going to get there. I think what I'm struggling with is even though we are in this very red, and I think they said it was like 6 now because they paid off 3 million of it. I think last meeting they said that. Even though we have that deficit, like there's just so much momentum in our community. And I think it's so much so now that it has kind of transferred ownership, where maybe the city was kind of leading the charge and cheering on. And now I think all these different specific entities have enough momentum that they're running with the ball. And we need to just let them do that and create an environment where they can be successful.
Let them cook.
Yes.
Like Main Street, Carrie Barrett,
Right.
Queen.
Yep.
Kai and Joe's Creation. What?
Tell us about the county. Y'all just had a big, busy council meeting tonight.
Let me give flowers to the city. Ink and Nail.
Oh yeah.
The place with the fancy hot dogs. Spacing the name.
Blue River Tap House.
That's right. But downtown continues to evolve and look absolutely fabulous. Like such a transformation in my time.
And the parks are great.
Yeah,
and I mean, the stuff that people our age look for.
Yes.
The crime
In
is
the home.
way down in the parks.
amenities.
I haven't heard anybody talk about crimes in Baker Park for months.
And I mean,
I up until November, I heard about a lot of crime in Baker Park, but that seems to have gone away.
But I want to give flowers to Carrie and everybody in leadership, like the investors, like Duke Ham, all the way down. I'm leaving people out. Like
you can't hit everybody, and that's what's great is there's so many people involved now that
but like
champions.
It's awesome. It's awesome to see. Like I feel like Newcastle / Henry County, we're on the move. Mm-hmm. We absolutely are.
Yep.
This is what I want. I'm tapping out for now, not forever. But I'm really excited for the direction. Yeah. Thank you, brother. Anyway, it's been really cool to see. And like all these restaurants opening up. I was talking to Katie at Primo's.
Mm-hmm.
I love Katie.
They've been an anchor.
Yeah, they have.
Broad Street construction.
And I was kind of like, what do you think about, but restaurants opening rent? She's like, I love it. Yeah. I love it.
It's a destination. You don't want to be the only restaurant in town.
No.
Blue River Tap House also has amazing popcorn. Big fan of that place.
Good to know. Haven't been there yet, but like
Chase had a adventure on St. Patrick's Day with the popcorn.
Yes. I'm sure he did.
But like
he picked it up off the ground 4, maybe 5 times.
Okay. But like celebrating these local businesses that are just well invested by people. They're not. They're our neighbors.
Right.
They're literally people we know.
And it's celebrating the people of the community.
Yeah.
For just that, who they are. They're people of our community. Doesn't matter what they look.
I love it. I love it. So just wanted to elevate that. But back to your question about our council. Got the funds in front of me. We are going to vote to raise your MS.
Hold on to my wallet. Hang on.
Yeah, get it out. Get it out.
Zip tie this thing shut.
So to set the scene, we of Henry County.
Did you just raise my 911 tax last year?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I didn't actually vote on it because I was in Prague and
you got as far away from that as you could.
Not intentionally. No, it was honestly me and Kenneth at the same time. He was in Texas. I'm in Prague, and it's like 10 or 11 p.m. And we've had AV issues that have prohibited us from participating.
All right, I won't interrupt you. Tell us about the tax you're raising.
Yeah. Anyway, I've never actually voted to raise taxes, but like I did reach out to Travis White directly and said, I support this just for the record, just so I don't look like a coward. So the state of Indiana does this really clever and fun thing. You know this, Jer. We're not going to raise your taxes. We're going to let your locals do it. We're going to give you all the mechanisms to raise your taxes.
To take care of it.
You just have to. We're not going to do it. We're not going to raise your taxes. We're fiscal heroes. We're brilliant. They're
big surplus
jackasses. I get so mad, and like
we were loving Governor Holcomb an hour ago, and now he's a jackass.
No.
Hey, he's the best Democratic governor.
I love Eric Holcomb. I'm talking about the legislature, and I'm not dragging our locals, but like the supermajority is like, we're not going to raise taxes. We're going to look like heroes, but like we're going to devise these laws so you at the local level can do what you need to do.
Yeah, the people that actually run into their constituents at the grocery store and get an earful. Yeah,
yeah. You have a good phrase. What was it? Like a news?
They hand a loaded gun.
They
And tell
load
them,
it. Bingo.
Yeah.
They'll load the gun and hand it to you and say, pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Which is the most American way to, show.
Yeah.
what's
So
actually happening.
that's exactly what happens. And so we have 3 potential increases: EMS, judicial, public safety. Jeez Louise, like, how do I vote against those?
Exactly.
As I look at government, local government especially, our number one job is public safety. It just is. It just is.
Those are kind of the nuts and bolts of government.
Yeah. And like with inflation, with everything that's just on fire, like we got to make sure those are funded. And Shannon and Tom, Shannon,
We're with you.
yeah.
You know who you're talking about.
Today, like our council,
Right,
right
Chase?
before I came here.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant dude. And he worked his tail off to like go through every level.
He didn't want to skip a tax to raise. He found them all. All right.
No,
All right.
he
Continue.
had a PowerPoint. He was ready to go. I cannot imagine us being more transparent, but we're going to raise taxes. It's just how much. And that's a debate for the next month. We're going to have public hearings.
Well, it's all those damn Democrats on there.
All the damn Democrats that are 0. Yes.
Yeah. Keep the umbrellas away from the courthouse because lightning will strike. I actually heard from one of our council people that a table of state legislators, when he was talking about how underfunded local government is, actually told him, well, you've got to max out the Lowit and you got to max out. I mean, that's what their game is.
We fight against it. I mean, it's money out of my pocket. It's money out of your pocket. It's money out of the single mom's pocket, the widower, like everybody's pocket.
But like you said, how do you vote against public safety?
So, to me, this is like the measure. Like,
Yep.
How much do you need? We vote for that exact level, not more.
Yeah, right.
We take the most
Like the
conservative
E911.
approach. Yeah, like most conservative approach, and it sucks. And if we need to raise it more, we will. I mean,
you're completing 6 years as a county council person, essentially 5 years. What you've learned in your 5 years is that the state legislature has set the council up to be the one responsible to vote for the tax increases that they've set up.
Mm-hmm.
That's been the experience you've had in 5 years.
And they have $6 billion.
And I know I give you a hard time about voting for the tax increases because when I lost my elections, I said I wouldn't vote for them, but I didn't get the chance to not vote for them.
Yeah, I mean,
this is how America works.
We had a citizen speak up and said, like, I don't want to pay any more of these taxes. Like, I worked 48 years. Like, you're burning me. Like, this is money for my family, and I can't disagree with that. I cannot.
Like our parents too, on limited income, like that they can't go work overtime or whatever.
Yeah.
So what kind of percentage? I'm sure you guys put some numbers together. There's probably an average household income of $30,000 or $40,000 that y'all use.
I have all this paperwork.
So hundreds of dollars a year. How much of a welding of my wallet shut do I have to do to prevent this?
It depends on the tax. Like the EMS is a couple bucks. Judicial is pretty cheap. Public safety is a lot more. I hate to speculate because I don't have exact numbers. If I add them up, but what I do know is that, like, you could watch our council meeting from today. I continue to be amazed by my colleagues, Shannon, Susan, Kenan. We're the north end of the courthouse. The south end's a little bit quieter, but Shannon has worked his tail off to just analyze this from every angle, and he says that he does it for himself, but he's incredible. He's an assassin.
So, do you have third-party agencies looking at these, saying, "Hey, these are the tools"? You have?
We had Jason Semler in the room who.
Baker Tilly.
Yeah, Baker Tilly.
They have relationships with the state,
and Jason's a local boy, Blue River boy. Yeah, Jason, I trust with all my heart. He's a local boy who he's incredible. If he doesn't have the answer, he'll have the answer in 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I told him that tonight. We're well advised. We got Joel, which I trust Joel with my life. I think Joel is just. I can't believe he stayed in Newcastle. He'd have gone anywhere. He could have Joel is just such a
Hey, and he even took a job back. Gosh, talk about a good human.
Reappointed county attorney.
yeah. Well,
Second tour of duty.
I
Talk
fought
about
for that.
character.
I fought for that pretty hard. Because I knew that all of it was a gigantic mistake. I think I might have been proven right. Like just saying no meth arrests.
All right. So let's talk about basketball. NBA draft chase. The Pacers, who'd they take this week?
No one.
Nobody. Are we still waiting?
I know of.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
The Pacers had no draft picks in the
Really?
draft. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I thought they had some, but they weren't first round or
Yeah,
like,
no, they have
were in
they
the
have somebody second.
they were in like
rounds.
the 30s,
They have somebody
30s or
second rounds.
50s.
They
or
have
something
some
like that.
today.
No Bronny James. That's all I know.
Well, I mean, their picks were low enough. Maybe they could have picked up Bronny.
Yeah.
He's not ready for the NBA.
We're all
I'm good.
good, right?
I'll give a shout out to a local guy though. I saw the video of Zach Edey, Purdue player, got
Yeah.
drafted number 9
To the Grizzlies.
to the Grizzlies.
And he's hanging out with the
If you
homies.
watch the video of him getting notified, of getting told though that he's not the most excited guy in that
Mhm.
shot. The most excited guy is Mason Gillis.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who was like super excited, jumps up. I was like, that dude is a teammate right there. Like he was more excited than the guy who just got drafted.
I caught a clip of his podcast on the Duke basketball podcast. And I mean, you talk about a leader and somebody who's working for the collective instead of, himself. It's 100%.
The Indiana Pacers selected Johnny Furby today.
So they got an
University
A
of
rating from the Ringer.
freshman.
I think that's Fred Hoiberg's
Cool
cousin.
name.
Johnny Furby.
downtown.
They traded up 3 picks to go get him. They got their guy, Fred Hoiberg, Iowa State head coach there for a minute, I think. And
sure.
I think
I got his autograph.
He's a
one
skinny
time.
boy. He's 6'9", 195.
He's like this silly Australian, but like
Wemby.
he's a hustler.
Wow.
There we go. 35th overall.
Yeah.
Traded with the Spurs. We gave them some money.
He
And
got-
we moved up 1 spot.
He got his draft ranking like across multiple channels was 18. We got him at 35.
Okay.
I don't know, he sounds like a ringer. I don't know.
Johnny Furby. All right. So the
Fred Hoiberg, I can't believe that.
the important basketball.
Vern Fleming.
Vern Fleming, Derek McKee,
Betsy, how you feeling? How you feeling about Caitlin Clark?
season ticket holder over here, Betsy Mills.
Caitlin.
It's been an awesome experience. We've been to how many games? I don't know. We
Feels like
a lot of them.
we sold
Feels
one
like for us too.
we sold one game off to like dear friends like
You didn't sell them for enough to pay for the entire season.
nah.
These are hard to get, aren't
Aw.
they? These are
They
big
are,
deals.
and no, I gave them like almost face value to like
Gotta
some.
sell tickets to pay for your new taxes. You gotta find new revenues.
I have to vote for these taxes that I also have to pay for.
I know you got to sell these tickets off
Yeah.
to pay for the new taxes.
No, and they had a great time. We texted the whole time. It was like a brother of mine, and his daughter, who's like 12, and they
That's
just had the
awesome.
best time. And we told them where to park. It's $12. If you park anywhere else, it'll be 20, 30, 40. It's 2 blocks away. Being at the Fever, like at the draft, being at all the home games, it's been incredible. Like it's
It's a basketball crowd. It feels like people are there because they care about the team, they care about the players, and the community is connected with
Yeah.
in a way that hasn't happened.
It's been hilarious. It's like a lot of like old married couples. It's been like a lot of young black families leaning on like females. A lot of lesbians. And no, but like
You don't have to whisper it. This is a safe place.
I know, but like it's like this.
Just don't say it 3 times.
But like it's been this like really fun space. I go to a lot of athletic events, and
We're never going to be picked up by terrestrial radio.
no, it's been super fun. Like the atmosphere is amazing.
Do you think
Like-
she should go play for Team Canada?
So have it right there. It's Italy or
I was
Ireland.
going
Right?
to say she got an offer from Italy too.
Is it Italy? Maybe.
No,
maybe
she's like,
she's
nah.
got dual. I think she
mean-
has dual citizenship with Canada. They offered her Italy. Almost every other country is offering her a spot in their
I think she
Olympic
should
team.
do it.
She should not. That'd be dumb.
But
shit.
again,
Renounce your Americanism.
you talk about character, like watching her, number one, settle games into the season, right? Like they are becoming a collective team now. And just every chance that she gets to drag somebody or say, yeah, look, I did. No, it's just raising the conversation above all of that.
She is a 20-year-old demonstrating a masterclass.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
She's
you forget she's 22.
Yeah,
her PR training is off the charts.
Oh my god, I want to know what that looks like if it happens.
Speaking of, I forgot logo out.
Yeah, but I have so much respect for her, and I hate that all this unintentional stuff she's been drawn into.
So how do you feel about Angel Reese?
She's a good athlete.
I think Angel's Angel's a good athlete. I really did not like when Angel jumped up after Kennedy Carter assaulted Caitlin. Yeah, like she cheered it. I thought that was really classless. I did not like that. And if that were my own team, I'd say that was classless. So I carry the same standard. I think Angel's having a hell of a season.
And could that be a focus, a difference between the focuses of the environment and the media and winning basketball games?
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not like, I hate you, Angel, but I think she's fun
to watch. This class has done a lot for the league, and that cannot be unsaid.
I also think a lot of Angel's rebounds are because she missed a lot.
I agree with that.
So, but like she's a good athlete. Like she's going to be a player. She's going to be. She's solid.
It's a lot easier to watch a Fever game than it was a Pacer game. They're all on national TV.
Yeah.
I know you were at the game in the owner suite or whatever, but they're on.
Gray seats are not owner suites.
JC been watching.
And I paid for those seats, and they're expensive.
A lot of Fever games.
Yeah.
I've watched more Fever games this year than I have in my entire life.
Yeah, it's fun and like to watch them develop in real time. Like first games, literally they just met each other.
So that's the crazy thing that fans don't understand is that these girls were playing this spring for their college teams, the rookies just got here.
And 2 weeks later, they're playing games,
and they're in the professional league without any opportunity for a spring training or a training camp or whatever. Yeah. So we are such a reactionary society that when they start off, I don't know, 2-9 or whatever it was, it's this sucks. We're terrible.
Yeah, and
we suck again.
I never felt bad about that. Chris and I have talked about that so many times. It's like, they need time to cook. They need to understand. I mean, Caitlin is such a brilliant shooter. Obviously, that's why people know her.
She's so good at passing.
Her passing is disgusting. Yeah. And disgusting in the best way. Like it's like she sees angles and
if
algorithms.
we could get some better hands on the team.
So it's the teammates are fumbling them, but they're getting better.
Yeah.
Now, you were quoting the Indianapolis Star columnist James Briggs.
Yes.
I assume you also
James with 2 S's. Just curious.
I know that you subscribe to the Indy Star for Greg. The second G is for genius. Doyle as well, right?
Sort of. I've been doing a thing at games. So my mom.
This part's too emotional for Aaron. He can't take it. He had to leave.
So myself. My partner, Chris Questenberry, and my mom, Sally Mills, we did this deep dive, after Greg Doyle in that press conference where he was like, oh, show me, so Caitlin does this thing with her family where she
does hearts with her hands.
Yeah.
The new modern Gen Z hearts.
Yeah. And Greg Doyle essentially said, show me that too. We're going to have a good time, which I don't think
50-year-old man is creepy.
Yeah, it was creepy. I don't think he's trying to be creepy. I don't think he's trying to be a monster. I don't think he's a monster.
I didn't think it sounded as weird as what everyone was making it out.
I thought it was really awkward, and I was really pissed off as a citizen of Indiana. You're making us look bad. You make us look like creeps. So what we were brainstorming was G-rated burns. Nothing that would be too much. Nothing that, So it's everything Greg Doyle, he prefers canned corn over corn on the cob. Greg Doyle forgets how to use his turn signal. Greg Doyle, help me. Craig Doyle doesn't listen to Taylor's version. One more. Craig Doyle does not get good scritches to dogs. Like, like
that's
like,
hurtful.
Yeah.
That one is hurtful because he's a noted pet lover.
Yeah. So like totally G-rated, like no curses, no, Oh, Craig Doyle rooted for the Knicks.
So these are all on signs or T-shirts you've been bringing.
Yeah, they're 11 by 17 signs.
Suite?
We printed in the FedEx exit 96, but yeah, I've been holding them up and like I'm like I can't believe I haven't gone viral yet, and like the social media team hangs out right behind us because we have like great seats and like it's a really good angle of the court. I'm like, you guys haven't covered me, and they're like, I think you're fucking hilarious, but
we don't want to. Yeah.
And so I was in the background.
There's not a WNBA memes page to catch you
so
guys.
like I was in the background of like a close-up of somebody else, and that went viral. And then other people replying were like, oh, here's her other signs. And 100,000 people have seen my madness.
100,000 people.
Yeah. And like I wish Greg Doyle no hardship. But I am pissed off.
Not a little bit, even just like a sticky D or S key or something.
Maybe like stub your toe. Like I really don't.
Sticky G key.
I wish him no harm, but like that was, that press conference was awkward.
Just a number of minor annoyances.
Yeah,
That's all you.
The mosquito bite. Yeah, he apologized that day and was like,
well, doesn't he have a history of kind of being
a little bit creepy?
Yeah.
His takes,
people came out of the woodwork after that.
His takes were like, I don't know, but I his apology I took, like I accepted, but I'm still going to burn him a little bit. They're G-rated. I don't want him to.
You don't want him to forget that he screwed up. The lesson we've learned tonight is don't forget.
Thank you. Yes.
Light burns, but clever light burns. Oh, we have some like Parks and Recreation burns.
Is he an Eagletonian?
No, but he did not. He did not attend the memorial for little Sebastian.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
So, like, I don't want to dunk on anybody. That's not my vibe. But I want him to feel a little bit.
But if somebody alley-oops you, you gotta slam it.
That was his first chosen interaction with the
largest,
the most significant person to arrive in a sports city, I think.
Yeah.
In like years. And that was the
national
first
spotlight.
Not just Indianapolis, but like anywhere.
Right.
And that was the first interaction he chose to have, was this like creepy interaction.
It was
where it also kind of sounded like a veiled threat. Like, if you're nice to me, then I'll be nice to you, because if you're not nice to me, it's my job to write horrible articles about people.
The first time I listened to it, like I said, I didn't think it sounded that weird. And then I went on Twitter and everyone was going off on it. And I was like, all right.
Chase succumbed to groupthink.
All right. You can buy my vote.
Kind of reminds you of the butler from Mr. Deeds. Let me change your socks. I mean, yeah.
I just want people to leave Caitlin alone. Like, she's 22. Like, she's cooking. She's developing. She's brilliant. Like, she's an absolutely brilliant athlete. Someone who's loved basketball my entire life, just watching her in real time make decisions. Like, she's an assassin. She's already putting up record numbers, but like she's the future, and she is the movement that elevates female basketball,
raises all boats.
Absolutely. And the people hating on her are jealous and petty, and it is a pleasure I've spent a fortune on these tickets. It's a pleasure to watch her in real time. She cooks.
Final thoughts. Let's start this segment here. If people want to spend more time with Betsy Mills, I assume they can sign up for classes at Penn State.
Yeah, you don't do that. They're expensive.
No, I mean, we gotta pay for these tickets. I assume you get a cut.
Not really. No.
They're still paying for Joe Paul lawsuits, I guess. I don't know.
Probably.
Tell people how to stay in touch with you, how to follow. If they've enjoyed the entertainment.
I'm super all over the internet. Like, I exist, Facebook. Yeah, I'm not hard to track down. BetsyMills@gmail.com. If if you're a constituent, especially about tax issues for the next 6 months, like I want to hear from you. I said that in their meeting tonight. I want to hear your opinion. I know it all sucks. I hate it, but give me your take.
Preferred communication, still singing Telegram.
Are you sending copies of these communications to state representatives? We have 3 state representatives for Henry County and 1 state senator. Are they getting copies of your complaints?
4, and I should.
Yeah. I mean,
Betsy JD
we have been cut
just
up so
one
much.
big one.
There's a lot of state somebodies that could hear from Henry County having to raise. You got a lot of people to complain to as Henry County citizens.
I mean, it sucks. The County Council Association just had their meeting last week. I wasn't there, but I've heard about it. I was there last year. We just bitch about the same things. It's thank you, State House, for making us criminals. Like just robbing our neighbors. You guys have $6 billion in reserves, but we are robbing our neighbors. Thank you for that. Thank you for the mechanisms to allow us to rob our neighbors.
Unity that I really wanted to hear about tonight.
And then the alarm goes off, and we get to do it all over again for another 4 years. Or 2.
I've spoken very openly tonight, so I think you know where I stand.
Zach Burcham, we're getting ready to go start packing vehicles to go celebrate America at Mid-Ohio with electric engines. Thanks, Obama.
See, that's the thing.
We got hybrid Indy cars
so they're starting
now.
hybrids.
First time ever.
And I hear engineer last ice powered. And no, it's not. It's the same ice powered engine. They just stuck a supercapacitor.
Ice means?
Internal combustion engine. It's still got the engine. They just stuck, like, it's not really even, it's probably more green than Formula One, but like Formula One's had hybrids. They're not green. They toast those batteries every race because they're overcooked so hard. So we're not saving the world. So I don't think it's the end of an era. It'll be interesting to see. We won't be able to tell the difference.
Really selling it.
I think it'll be interesting. And it's a dynamic to see, but you can't see them doing it.
Now things can break.
Yeah.
There is new technology to go horribly wrong.
We'll see. Yeah, but
reset that race car. It's like an iPhone out there.
Yeah, that'll be. I will say on the one thing, because I am a frequent visitor to the city council meetings, but like if you see something come up, contact them and ask them like questions about stuff, because I've seen stuff get twisted when they're trying to do I think that the city's now going to bill homeowners insurances if your house burns down, which seems cold, but they're not going to bill you. They're just trying to recoup a little bit of money for the runs. And people are trying to say, oh, they're going to charge people when their house burns down. No.
When is the last time you stood up and said something at a council meeting?
Well, I almost never do.
Okay. Can I get you at the next one to stand up and complain about the giant hole at 14th and Vine?
Vine, yeah, you're still.
But I've told a couple of council members, and they just don't listen to me about it.
This is a dumb question. So
I'm pretty sure it's why my truck's in the shop.
So the county level, I know I emailed Joe Copeland, and like people are like, my road sucks, and I would drive down it, and I'm like, this is horrifying. Like these potholes, our pools, like I just who's the guy for Newcastle?
Lee Walker, and his phone number is 7. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but
Let's call him now.
The street department number is on there, and they've been very responsive as of the last few years.
I mean, no shade.
But the issue that you're talking about is not a pothole. It is a manhole.
It is a manhole.
It's a storm drain. Is a storm drain?
The contractors that redo the roads, they don't grade it out exactly right, or it's not their problem. It's not their asset, and you probably hear that in your line of work. And so and they're like that. Indiana Avenue has a string that are like, and they're right in line with that right tire too, which is the worst.
You know what makes me laugh though? Is what they did next to Baker Park along Q, Parkside, Trojan Lane? They just paved over the manholes.
Oh my God.
So there's just these manhole cover sized pothole patches where they just filled them in because that was a road that got paved a couple years ago. And then by the time that somebody raises a stink about the fact that they didn't raise them, they either didn't grade the road down enough, or they're supposed to put
a riser in.
I think they put like a collar in that raises the manhole cover up. By the time they do it, the contractor is like, they're like your fly-by-night roofer insurance scam guy. They're gone, and they are not coming back with that kind of stuff. So
this is I know I've given up on chickens, but I have the same thing on Jeffrey Street I have the same thing on Jeffrey Street in front of my house on my Henry County Road.
Is that county or
where
city?
the county did it a year and a half ago,
Here's what I
and they
find the
said
most-
we're going to come back and fix this.
Yeah.
Here's what I find the
And
most
it's not
fascinating
fixed.
thing, though.
Send
is
me
that-
an email, and I will forward it with
Oh, yeah.
additional
but,
comments.
But how often do you turn right off of 14th on Divine?
Every single time.
I've done it like twice, and I've lived here for 40 years.
If you
You don't
came,
just go up a block to Maine.
I go to Maine.
You're getting on Maine anyway. Oh, interesting. Interesting how this is a city problem, Jeremiah.
I'm on 14th Street. I'm on 14th Street as a person who's doing commerce in this city.
You should just.
I stop.
Yeah.
I turn right on Vine Street so that I don't have to cross traffic. I'm driving safely and I'm avoiding stoplights. Vine Street was built, folks, if you're driving your car, stop, pull over, pull up a Google Maps list.
The Newcastle bypass.
It's the Newcastle bypass of downtown. So
Right.
it's an east-west road that skips all of the stoplights on 38.
except we built a jail in the middle of the end of it.
So I will take it and I will go from 14th Street to Main Street on Vine, and I won't have to cross what I don't like to do is have oncoming traffic both directions. So if I turn right, or in this case west onto Vine Street, I can then go one block and then safely make my
Yeah, but
turn
if
back
you
to the
just make 14th Street jogs anyway, so if you don't take that jog and you just make
Now,
that turn a block
The
early,
man is blaming
I
me
also
for his pothole.
I also think that
it's not a pothole.
No. I think that 14th Street turning on Divine is sketchy because you can't see over the hill.
So I think
This
we're
is deep local stuff. If
where
there's a
we
hill
land.
to the east-
Very. This is deep local stuff
Deep
for
local
sure,
stuff.
brother.
What I'm
So-
hearing is that hole is there for my safety,
Yes,
and it's never going to get
what you
fixed.
should do is go straight.
I cannot speak
What
to
the hell
that
are you
as a
riding-
county
what the hell are you
officer.
driving on this road
You
for?
should go straight.
So
How
that's
dare
an
you.
Aaron Dicken thing, and in the county,
you should just go straight though and stop at the Jackson.
let me know.
drive-thru
Let
right
me
there.
know. But like, yeah, our roads. Something actually tonight at our council meeting, we're like sort of ahead on funding for highway department, and that's because of mild winters, and that's what kills us. Like, you freeze,
Mhm.
freeze thaw, like that. That's what breaks his roads. That's where we get
I
potholes.
heard the county's paying for the Garner Street Bridge for the city,
Sure,
being good to them.
but
Very benevolent.
in the city.
yeah, but like, and Joe Copeland had a really good presentation tonight. Like, props to him. He's a really smart dude. And I really do think we fund things judiciously, but, yeah, like the mild weather, climate change. I don't know. But, yeah, so it's saving us money.
All right. And
Climate change is good.
anything left, Zach?
That was a joke, but
No. It was too hot last week for climate change to be good.
I was joking, but whatever.
Westwood's lake was frozen over for the whole 4 days this year. Councilman Dicken, anything else that we've forgotten you want to talk about?
I mean,
Picked on
just,
y'all enough tonight.
just as usual. I mean, I think if you're interested in the well-being of your community, you should run for something. And I'm open to conversations regardless of party affiliation, as evidenced by discussions with candidates from all parties, actually.
Amen.
It's what it takes. It takes good people to run. And also it takes people calling out bullshit when you see it. Don't have to be overly aggressive about it, but just call it out. And that's all I have. Don't contact me. In over 8 years, I'm turning into an introvert slowly.
You've been cured. Chase Peyton, I'm so excited you said I really want to be a part of this local government conversation tonight.
Yes, I've
And-
added a lot to it.
And you said I'd rather do nothing else on a Thursday night
Mhm.
than come out and hang out with these guys.
So I went to a little concert this past weekend.
Oh, yeah?
In Columbus, Ohio.
You went to the Bryan concert.
Mhm.
Yeah, see Zach Bryan. It was a really good concert. I made a mistake that I will never make again.
Okay.
So we were staying at her cousin's house. They were out of town for a wedding.
Her would be your wife.
Yes. So they had a little festival going on before the concert. So we drove to that, paid for parking, but it was like 94 degrees out. So after like an hour and a half, we were like, let's just go chill at the house until the concert starts. So we drove out and we were like, let's just Uber to the concert. We got to the concert fine. She was like, there's a little spot. They'll have us go after the concert and the Uber will meet us there. So the concert was great.
Surge pricing.
I think there was less weed smoking than the concert you went to. There was still some.
The DNR needs to do something about the skunk.
It smelled pretty good.
Amphitheater.
Overrun. So I ordered the Uber. Super expensive after the concert. It was like a $90 Uber to go 10 minutes down the road. And it said, be there in 5 minutes. And it pulls up a little map of the car and it says 1.5 miles away. So we get to the spot. We sit there for 20 minutes and I look at my phone again and it says 1.4 miles away.
Oh.
And there's like 90 people just standing all next to us waiting for Ubers. So then my Uber calls me. He's like, hey man, I'm stuck in traffic. And I was like, cool. You want me to walk to you? He was like, yeah, we'll meet in the middle. So we get to 1.5 miles away and I mean, we're right there, right where the car is at. I can see it almost. I couldn't see it, but I mean, on the map, I was right
like
there. And he got waved to go on the highway by a cop. He got rerouted like another half mile away. And keep in mind, my wife's she was very dumb, and she wore cowboy boots with short socks.
It's a country concert.
Yes.
And now you're walking 2 miles?
Yeah, we walked a full 2 miles and met him on a very busy road. It was
Wow.
great. It was wonderful. So never Uber to a concert. It was where Ohio State plays football at. Very underwhelmed by their stadium. It looked smaller than expected.
Yeah,
That's what
they've
they always
updated
say.
a long time. It's pretty tight. Cooper.
Aaron just wants to get out of here and be done.
But yeah, that's all I got. Never Uber to a concert.
It's
Public transit, man.
yeah. Need more light rail. I got nothing, guys. This is spectacular. Yes. You want to go again?
Yeah. No, what I love about this dialogue, like Republican, Libertarian, Chase, I don't know.
I just want
You got it right.
I just want weed in Indiana one of these days before I get to like 80 years
agree,
old.
I agree.
It's just not legal.
I just want to say,
it's
like,
here, though.
I love this dialogue in good faith and good love. Like, we're all friends.
Chase, there's a lot of tourism to Michigan.
This is the way it should be. Like, I love you guys so much. Like,
Same.
You've been
Even
so
though
good
you're
to me.
wrong. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
Maybe I am.
We will be back Tuesday of next
Appreciate
week.
you.
4th of July is Thursday. Nobody wants to do this show on the 4th of July. So you get a Tuesday night show next week. With that, we say thank you guys very much. We'll
Peace
see you
out.
then.